The episode begins the way all unforgettable moments do, quietly. The morning light spills across the Heartland ranch, turning the grass into gold. Amy is seen saddling Spartan, her movements steady but distant, as if she's been living on autopilot. Years have passed, yet something about the way she looks toward the open field tells us she's still waiting for something or someone. There's peace in her world now, but it's the kind of peace that comes after too much pain, fragile, earned, and heavy with memories. The ranch feels the same, yet not quite whole. Every corner seems to remember Ty, the old tools he left behind. The bench where he used to drink coffee at sunrise. The way the horses react to the faint scent of him still lingering in the air from the very first scene. The episode captures a tone that's nostalgic, but not sad. It's like watching a place slowly exhale after years of holding its breath. Amy takes Lindy to school, smiles at her growing confidence, and for a brief moment, everything feels normal. But that's when the music shifts, a soft guitar note, almost haunting. Amy pauses by the gate, sensing something she can't explain. It's subtle, like the air has changed, like the wind is whispering a name she hasn't spoken aloud in years. The camera lingers on her face, eyes searching the horizon. She doesn't see him yet, but she feels him. And we, as the audience, feel it too. The next few minutes are filled with small but powerful symbols. Jack mends a fence that doesn't seem broken. Lisa looks at Amy with quiet concern. Tim mentions seeing a familiar figure near town, but Amy brushes it off. These moments don't scream drama, they whisper it. They build tension the way Heartland always has, through silence, emotion, and truth. The ranch is alive with a kind of energy that makes even the horses uneasy. It's like the universe is preparing everyone for something extraordinary. Then comes the turning point. Amy returns to the barn late in the afternoon. The sunlight is softer now, fading into that warm, golden glow that only Heartland can capture. She hums a song, the same melody Ty used to whistle when they worked together. It's a habit she doesn't even realize she's kept. She turns to close the door and freezes. There, standing by the old stall, is a figure. His posture, his presence, unmistakable. For a moment, she can't breathe. The world narrows to just that space between them. No words, no music, just a long, aching silence that feels eternal. Ty stands there, not like a ghost, not like a memory, but as a man who's finally come home. His face carries the weight of the years, his eyes full of something both familiar and changed. Amy's tears come before her voice does. She whispers his name, almost afraid it will break the spell, Ty. It's the softest sound, but it carries all the emotion of the past 5 years. He smiles, that same half-smile that once melted every wall she ever built. The reunion doesn't rush. Heartland lets it breathe. Ty takes one slow step forward, and Amy takes one back, as if she's trying to convince herself he's real. The horses stir. The wind moves through the open door. It's as if the ranch itself recognizes that a missing piece has returned. The next scenes unfold like poetry. Ty explains where he's been, not through long monologues, but through simple truths. He'd been lost, physically and emotionally, after everything that happened. He needed time to heal, to rediscover who he was outside the pain. He couldn't face Amy until he knew he could come back as the man she deserved, not the broken version of himself. The show doesn't rely on miracles or drama to justify his return. Instead, it grounds it in emotion, humility, and humanity. That's what makes it believable. Heartland has always been about the strength it takes to rebuild, not just survive. Amy listens quietly. Her expression moves through disbelief, anger, love, and finally peace. There's no shouting, no melodrama, just truth. Ty apologizes not only for leaving, but for taking so long to come home. Amy forgives him not because it's easy, but because her heart never truly stopped waiting. The moment they finally embrace is understated yet powerful. The camera doesn't zoom in, it stays at a distance, letting the audience feel like quiet witnesses to something sacred. Lindy's moment comes later. and it's the most emotional scene of the entire episode. She runs into the barn, confused at first, then stops mid-step when she sees Ty. She doesn't know him the way Amy does, but she feels the connection instantly. He kneels, his voice trembling as he says, "Hey, kiddo." The word echoes through years of absence and longing. Lindy takes a moment, steadying his face, then throws her arms around him. It's raw, simple, and perfect. That single moment ties every thread of the past together. Love lost, love found, and love that never stopped existing. By the end of the episode, the ranch glows under the fading sun. Amy, Ty, and Lindy walk toward the paddock together, the way they used to. It doesn't feel like a dream or a fantasy. It feels earned. Every tear, every lonely night, every bit of faith the fans held onto finally pays off. As the screen fades to black, Amy's voice narrates softly, "Sometimes the people we love don't leave us forever. They just find their way back when the world is ready." That final line captures everything Heartland stands for, that no matter how far life takes us, some bonds are unbreakable. Ty's comeback isn't about rewriting the past. It's about reclaiming the future. And as the credits roll, one truth becomes clear. Heartland has found its heart again. When Ty Borden appeared in that barn doorway, it felt like a miracle, but it wasn't one pulled from fantasy. It was a moment built on years of quiet storytelling, on wounds that never healed completely, and on a truth Heartland has whispered since the beginning. Healing doesn't always happen where we expect it to. Ty's comeback wasn't about rewriting what happened in the past. It was about showing how time, love, and forgiveness can bring someone back from the edge, not through magic, but through growth. Heartland has never been a show that relies on shock value. Its strength lies in honesty, in the raw and human emotions that connect its characters to its audience. So when the writers decided to bring Ty back, they didn't do it to erase pain or create headlines. They did it to close a story the right way. His death, as it was once believed, was always told through the lens of Amy's grief. We saw what she experienced, but we never saw the full truth. That left a space, an emotional possibility, for something unfinished. And that's what made this return believable. It didn't break the world of Heartland. It deepened it. The explanation behind Ty's disappearance is rooted in the show's realism. After his injury, Ty's recovery had always been uncertain. He had trauma, physical, emotional, and spiritual. What if he survived, but chose isolation over reunion? What if he believed Amy and Lindy would be safer without him while he healed from the pain he couldn't put into words? It's the kind of decision that fits Ty's nature, selfless to the point of self-destruction. He's a man who has always carried other people's burdens before his own. Leaving might have been his way of protecting the people he loved most. When we see him again, he's not the same Ty we remember. There's a stillness about him, a quiet understanding that comes only from years of reflection. He doesn't return as a hero riding in to save the day. He returns as a man who has faced the darkness inside him and finally found the strength to step into the light again. That's what makes his comeback emotionally authentic. It honors his past, his struggles, and his humanity. Heartland gives us a version of Ty who has changed, but in a way that feels earned, shaped by pain, not erased by it. Amy's reaction reinforces that sense of realism. She doesn't instantly forgive or forget. There's confusion, even anger, buried beneath her relief. She asks the questions fans had been asking for years. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you let me believe you were gone? And Ty, with a trembling voice, answers with a truth that hits hard. He wasn't ready to face them until he could face himself. He needed to learn how to live again before he could come home. That honesty is what makes the moment powerful. It's not perfect. It's not neat. It's human. The writers also use this return to explore one of Heartland's oldest themes, the idea of home. Throughout the series, the ranch has been more than just a place. It's been a symbol of healing, of second chances. Ty's absence showed us what happens when home loses a piece of itself. His return shows us what it means to find it again. In a way, this comeback isn't just Ty's journey. It's the ranch's too. The land, the people, the horses, they all feel whole again. Another reason the story works so beautifully is how it respects Amy's growth. For years, fans worried that bringing Ty back might undo her progress, that it might reduce her strength or independence. But the opposite happens. Amy doesn't need Ty to be strong. She chooses to share her strength with him again. That's an important difference. The reunion doesn't take away her journey of healing. It completes it. She's no longer the woman waiting for someone to save her. She's the woman who learned to save herself, and now she welcomes back the person who once taught her what love could be. After years of silence, a soft breeze moves across the Heartland ranch, the same place where love, laughter, and loss once lived together. The camera pans slowly over the empty barn, the sound of horses echoing in the distance. A familiar presence lingers in the air. It's as if time itself has paused, because Ty Borden is finally home. His return isn't just a surprise. It's a moment that pulls at the very heart of every Heartland fan who ever believed in second chances. Season 19, Episode 1 doesn't just bring back a character. It brings back a piece of the soul we thought was gone forever. Ty Borden wasn't just another character in Heartland. He was the heartbeat of the show, the calm in every storm, and the strength behind Amy Fleming's courage. From the moment he arrived at the ranch as a troubled teenager, there was something different about him, a quiet fire, a sense of hope that things could get better no matter how broken they seemed. Viewers saw him grow from a boy trying to escape his past into a man who built a future filled with love, family, and redemption. Every smile he shared with Amy, every gentle touch with a horse, every hard-earned victory, it all made Ty more than a name on the screen. He became a part of our own lives. Over the seasons, Ty's journey mirrored the struggles many of us face. He learned to forgive, to love without fear, and to fight for what matters most. His relationship with Amy wasn't a fairy tale, it was real. They argued, they cried, they dreamed, and they built something beautiful out of life's hardest lessons. Together, they showed that love isn't perfect. It's patient, it's strong, and it heals. Fans didn't just watch their story, they felt it. When Ty and Amy got married, it felt like a victory for everyone who had ever believed in love after pain. When they welcomed Lindy, it felt like the world had come full circle. And then came the silence. The loss of Ty in season 14 shattered not only Amy's world, but ours too. It wasn't just a character death, it was a goodbye that no one was ready for. The empty seat at the dinner table, the quiet moments where Amy tried to stay strong, the way Lindy looked at her mother searching for answers, all of it reminded us of the weight of love lost too soon. But Heartland never used Ty's absence as a simple plot twist. Instead, it became a story about resilience, how a family learns to move forward even when a part of them stays behind. Amy carried that pain with a strength that only comes from deep love. She kept Ty's memory alive through her work with horses, through every lesson she passed on to Lindy, and through every quiet sunrise she faced alone. Yet even in the stillness, there was a sense that Ty's presence never truly left. His spirit lingered in the barn, in the way Amy whispered to the horses, and in every heart that refused to let go of his story. Fans never stopped hoping maybe someday, somehow, Ty would find his way back. What makes Ty's character unforgettable is not just his charm or his story arc. It's what he represented. He was a symbol of healing, of transformation, of how love can turn pain into purpose. Even when he was gone, his influence continued to shape every corner of Heartland. That's why, when rumors began to spread about his possible return in season 19, fans felt something ignite again. Not just excitement, but hope. The kind of hope that reminds us why we fell in love with this story in the first place. Season 19, Episode 1 captures that feeling perfectly. From the very first frame, you can sense the presence of something familiar, as if the ranch itself has been waiting for Ty to walk through its gates again. The silence feels different now. It's not heavy anymore. It's expectant. The past and present start to blur as Amy looks toward the horizon, where the sun sets behind the hills, the same direction Ty once rode off into. It's in that moment we realize Some stories never truly end. They just find new ways to begin again. Ty's comeback isn't just about bringing back a fan favorite. It's about healing wounds that have lingered too long. It's about giving Amy, Lindy, and all of us the chance to say what we never could, that sometimes love is strong enough to find its way home. The man who once arrived at Heartland searching for a second chance now returns to give us all one. It began as a whisper, one quiet rumor in a world that had already accepted the heartbreak. Ty might be coming back. Most brushed it off, calling it impossible. How could he return when his story had already ended so painfully, so completely? But in Heartland, the impossible has always had a way of finding its place among the horses and hills. Still, this time it felt different. There was no announcement, no official teaser, just a quiet energy, something hidden in the way season 19 was being filmed. The way the cast avoided certain questions, the way Amy's actress spoke about healing coming full circle. It wasn't a promise, but it was enough to make fans feel like the story wasn't done yet. For years, Heartland's audience carried Ty in their hearts like a memory they couldn't let go of. Every time Amy looked into the distance, every time Lindy asked about her dad, it felt like the show itself was holding its breath. Viewers noticed things, the old photo of Ty never being moved from the wall, the way Amy talked to him as if he could still hear her. These weren't coincidences. They were signs, quiet reminders that maybe, somewhere beyond what we could see, Ty's spirit was waiting. The creators of Heartland have always respected emotion over spectacle. They knew that if Ty were ever to return, it couldn't just be for shock value. It had to mean something. It had to feel real. When news broke that season 19 would open with a moment that will change everything, the internet exploded with theories. Some said it would be a flashback episode showing Ty's final days, the way for Amy to find closure. Others believed it might be a dream sequence, a symbolic reunion rather than a real one. But there was another, more daring theory, that Ty never truly died. That his fate had been left open by design, hidden behind the soft fade-out of season 14. The possibility sent a wave of excitement and disbelief through the fandom. Could Heartland really bring him back? Would that even make sense after all this time? But that's where Heartland's beauty lies, in its ability to blend hope and heartbreak so naturally that we believe both can exist together. Ty's comeback, as revealed in season 19 episode 1, doesn't feel forced or unbelievable. Instead, it feels like a story that was waiting for the right moment to continue. The episode opens quietly, with Amy going through her daily chores at the ranch. The air feels heavy, but peaceful, like the calm before something life-changing. And then it happens. A familiar shadow crosses the barn doorway, and Amy freezes. The camera doesn't rush. It lingers on her expression, the disbelief slowly giving way to tears. The audience feels it before she speaks. He's home. The magic of Ty's return isn't just in the moment itself, but in how it's written. It's layered with meaning, both emotional and symbolic. For years, Amy carried the burden of unfinished love, and now she's faced with the one person she thought she'd never see again. But this isn't a ghost story. It's not about haunting or memory. It's about destiny, timing, and forgiveness. Ty's reappearance isn't explained with dramatic twists or sci-fi miracles. It's revealed through quiet realism that he had been away, healing, finding himself again after a journey that took him far from home. His silence wasn't death. It was distance. His absence wasn't the end. It was part of the path. This twist works because it honors what Heartland has always been, a show about growth, family, and the idea that healing isn't always visible. Ty didn't just return for Amy or Lindy. He returned for himself, for the life he left behind. In that moment, viewers don't see a character resurrected. They see a man reborn. The years have changed him. There's a softness in his eyes, the wisdom that comes from loss. He's no longer the restless boy who arrived at the ranch all those seasons ago. He's a man who understands what home truly means. Even as the scene unfolds, there's a gentle restraint. Amy doesn't run into his arms right away. Instead, she hesitates, caught between disbelief and fear. And that's what makes the reunion powerful. It feels human. The silence between them says more than words ever could. The way she breathes his name, the way he looks at her like no time has passed, it's a moment that bridges years of separation and pain. For viewers, it's not just a plot twist. It's a release. The tension, the grief, the longing that's been building since Ty's departure finally finds peace. Fans who had spent years hoping for this scene felt like they were witnessing something sacred. Heartland managed to pull off what few shows dare to try, bringing back a character in a way that strengthens the story instead of undoing it. The writing treats Ty's comeback not as a reversal of loss, but as a continuation of healing. It doesn't erase Amy's pain. It honors it. It doesn't pretend the years apart never happened. It acknowledges them with tenderness. By the time the episode fades to its final moment, the ranch bathed in evening light, Amy and Ty standing side by side again, one thing becomes clear. His return was never just about shock or nostalgia. It was about closure. About giving every broken heart watching a reason to believe that love doesn't end when life gets hard. It just waits for us to find our way back.